Well, hello guys, it is that time once again for another edition of Odds and Ends, where I bring you some really rare news stories from all over the world, and, well, they don't call it Odds and Ends for a reason, you know? Now, I'm not going to really explain too much for my lateness, except, go watch my vlog. You watch my vlog, and then pretty much it'll say why this edition of Odds and Ends was late, so that's all I'm going to say. But anyway, so I have my source right here, and I'm sure you guys are ready to hear some crazy stories, so let's get going. Our first story comes out of Austria, where a miniature pony is back in his circus troupe after being kidnapped by a mother who just wanted to fulfill her daughter's Christmas wish. Fridolin the pony, who measures only 2 feet tall, went missing from the Vienna Christmas circus shortly before Christmas. Circus director Adolf Laudenberg told the Austrian press agency that a woman called the circus and said she had kidnapped the animal to give to her sick daughter. Apparently, the woman had second thoughts about keeping a tiny pony and told circus officials where to find it. Fridolin was located at a bus stop in Vienna on December 26th. The woman who made off with him did not give her name. Police are investigating. Okay, why would you kidnap a miniature pony in the first place? Yes, obviously for your sick daughter, but is it really that hard for you just to pick up your daughter, take her to the circus, go see the pony? And then you had second thoughts. Yeah, should have thought that one out a little bit better instead of just like kidnapping a pony and then just bringing it back. People are just... Seriously, they need to think this through more or else they're going to end up doing this. But, I don't know if she's going to get caught or not though, but we'll find out sooner or later. And moving on to our next story, which comes out of Iowa, where Iowa's all-male high court has determined it is legal to fire an employee because she's too darn attractive. The decision comes after Iowa dentist James Knight fired his assistant, 32-year-old Melissa Nelson, after a decade on the job because he found her, quote, irresistible. Knight said in court he was very likely to have an affair with her if he kept her on the payroll. He also said he found Nelson's clothing, quote, distracting, and told the court, quote, I don't think it's good for me to see her wearing things that accentuate her body. In 2009, Knight's wife, Janine, demanded her husband fire Nelson after she found the two sometimes exchanged text messages. Despite saying she was, quote, the best dental assistant he ever had, Nelson dumped her after getting the same advice of his pastor. Nelson sued her employer on the grounds that she was terminated because of her gender. The court sided with Knight, however, noting that legal precedent found it acceptable for a boss to fire a worker due to a spouse's jealousy. Wow. You fire somebody because they're too attractive. What are all the pretty women going to do, huh? Now that they don't have jobs, huh? If this law passes in the state of Iowa and then it takes it to the high court in the United States and then the United States passes this saying in every state it is legal to fire somebody because they're too attractive, what's going to happen to them? Are they just going to stay home and do nothing, or what? What's going to happen to them? This is like by far one of the stupidest laws ever made. Seriously. But fortunately it passed in Iowa, so that's just one state. Hopefully, like I said, it doesn't reach to the high court and go to every state, because if it does, then I don't know what's going to happen. Just saying. And moving on to our next story, which comes out of Maryland, where a federal employee was formally reprimanded in early December because his, quote, uncontrollable flaudence had created a, quote, intolerable and, quote, hostile environment for his coworkers. On December 10th, the unnamed 38-year-old Social Security Administration employee was given a 5-page letter logging the dates and times office mates reported him, quote, releasing the awful and unpleasant odor. A redacted copy of the letter was circulated among officers of the American Federation of Government Employees and made its way to the internet, where it was posted on thesmokinggun.com. The letter reprimanded, which accuses the windy worker of, quote, conduct unbecoming of a federal officer, is the least severe administrative sanction that can be given to a government worker. According to the letter, the worker was first spoken about his problem on May 18th when a manager informed him that coworkers had complained about his flauntance and that it was, quote, the reason none of them were willing to assist you with your work. On July 17th, a second SSA manager spoke to the man, quote, in regards of your releasing of bodily gas in the module during work hours. On August 14th, an SSA deputy division director was called in to discuss the, quote, continuous releasing of your bodily gas and the terrible smell that comes with the gas. At this time, apparently, the worker said he was lactose intolerant and planned to purchase gas eggs. Despite the worker's promise to fix the problem, the author of the note went on to chart 17 separate dates and 60 separate times on which the employee broke wind. The letter, which will remain in the employee's file for up to 1 year, calls the conduct, quote, discourteous, disrespectful, and entirely inappropriate. So somebody works for the government. You complain about them busting wind. We all do it. Doesn't mean that you have to freaking get mad at him. Well, depending on policy though, but apparently this policy is just stupid, but you don't have to get mad at him just because he has to break wind. He tries to do the best he can not to make it too smelly and anything, and plus he said he was going to take gas eggs because he's lactose intolerant. So therefore, you can't just go on and say, oh, you farted, you're fired. Because that would be just like the stupidest thing to do, to accuse somebody of passing gas and then you fire them just because an employee complained about it. But hopefully they can get this all sorted out, and hopefully this guy won't have to lose his job because he just busted ass. So, yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. And moving on to our final story, which comes out of Florida, where police in DeLand, Florida arrested a man for child abuse after he allegedly beat his 3 children with a belt because one of them passed gas in his car during the Thanksgiving holiday. Austin Davis, 32, was arrested and charged with 3 counts of aggravated battery after one of his kids farted in the car, but none of them would say who did it. According to the Daytona Beach News Journal, photographs show dark bruises on the legs, thighs, and buttocks of Davis's 12-year-old, 9-year-old, and 6-year-old offspring. A relative who took the photographs eventually reported the abuse. Again, more farting in the news, but why would you beat your kids with a belt if none of them would say who farted, when obviously you could have just said, okay, who did it? I won't get mad. Somebody just tell me who farted, and we'll leave it at that. And if one of them did, then okay. But you could have also rolled down the windows, dude. I mean, it's not that hard to freaking release bad gas and from a closed environment such as a car. It's easy as pressing down on the button and rolling down the window. But apparently you got so PO'd, you eventually just got a belt and you just beat the bejesus out of your kids with it, because apparently none of them would say who did it, so you got all aggro, and this whole thing happened, and look what happened. You got aggravated child abuse for 3 counts for your 3 kids. Nice going, dude. But anyways, guys, that is it for this edition of Odds and Ends, and I really hope you guys enjoyed listening to those stories as much as I like reading them to you, and we will see you Thursday for a new edition, and until next time, we'll see you guys later, and take it easy.